Okay, in this video we're going to look at the tent design problem out of WebAssign and also out of your textbook. And what we're going to look at is where we have a 60-degree angle here. This makes a right triangle. They tell us that what A and what B are. And so they tell us that A is equal to 4 feet. Let me try to get that a little bit better. 4 feet, and that B is equal to 6 feet. And what we're wanting to know is how much material is needed to cover this tent, the total amount of material for this tent. They do tell us that we want to make sure that we find the area of the side, and that includes this side, the other side, and the bottom. So we're going to have 3 times this side. And we also want to make sure that we have this triangle and the back flat. So it's going to be 2 times that triangle. Well, we have to do a lot of calculations here because we have to first, we only know one side here. We have to look at the other 2 sides. So let's look and remember first about a right triangle that has the 60, 90 degree angles. And so remember that if we're looking at it here, this is a 60 degree angle. So that makes this one a 30 degree angle. So we're talking about a 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree triangle. Okay. When we're looking at this, there's a rule for the 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. And what that rule states is that anytime we're looking at this, the side opposite the 30 degrees is considered our T. The side opposite our 60 degrees is considered T times the square root of 3. And therefore our hypotenuse, or the side opposite our 90 degrees, is considered 2t. So this kind of gives us a little bit of basis right here on the sides of a 30, 60, 90 triangle. We use these as our basis for these. We really need to know what our 30, 60, 90s and our 45, 45, 90 triangle sides are. So in this one we've got a 30, 60, 90. Now if I go back up here and look, this is a 60 degree angle, and the side opposite of it is my A, which is 4 feet. So I've got 4 feet here. And so the side opposite of 60 degrees is T times the square root of 3. So think about that. If T square root of 3 is my side opposite, that is equal to, in our case, 4. We want to solve for T because we need to find out what this side is and what this side is, because we're going to have to find these sides in order to find the actual area of this. So if I solve for T, I'm going to divide by the square root of 3. So I get that T is equal to 4 divided by the square root of 3. I never want to leave a radical in the denominator. So I want to rationalize my denominator. Rationalizing the denominator, I apologize if this keeps scrolling down on us. Rationalize the denominator, I multiply the numerator and the denominator by that radical. So I get that it is going to be T is now equal to 4 square root of 3 divided by, well, the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 gives me the square root of 9. But what's the square root of 9? That's going to be 4 square root of 3 divided by 3. Okay? So let's look at if I have over here and try to find out what this is doing. I don't know why my board is acting up this way, but so if we look at our right triangle, we now know that this side is 4 and this side is 4 square root of 3 divided by 3. In other words, if we compare these two sides. Okay? The last part that we need to figure out is this side over here, which is equal to 2t. So I have 2t, which t was this 4 square root of 3 divided by 3. So that's 4 square root of 3 divided by 3. So that is now going to give me 8 square root of 3 divided by 3. That gives me my third side of my triangle. Okay? So I now have all of these sides that I can place in here. This is 8 square root of 3 over 3. And this is 4 square root of 3 over 3. Which also makes this side 4 square root of 3 over 3. And this 8 square root of 3 over 3. And this was equal to 6. So I now, if you notice, I have all the sides that I need to find my areas. If we recall, to find the areas, we need to find the area of triangles and rectangles. So the first thing that we need to look at is the area of a triangle. Well, we had that nice big triangle to begin with on the front side that we knew what it looked like. Okay? And we knew that this was 4, and we found that this side was 8 square root of 3 over 3. This was 4 square root of 3 over 3. This is 4 square root of 3 over 3. And this is 8 square root of 3 over 3. Recall that the area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. Well, our height is kind of easy. If I can get my page back up. So my height is easy. It's going to be the 4. So my height is actually 4. My base is these two things added together. But I want 1/2 of it. So if I think about half of my base, it is exactly half. So it is actually going to be just this. So it's actually going to be 4 square root of 3 over 3 as this entire thing, because I want half of my base. So if I multiply that together, I get 16 times the square root of 3 divided by 3. This is the area for one end of our tent. This is just the area for the one end of the tent. So area for one end is equal to 16 square root of 3 over 3. Now then, if we look at the sides of the tent, because we still have the sides to go, I draw my tent again. Okay. So think about our tent. And when I think about the tent, we're going to have this be 4. This is 4 square root of 3 over 3. 4 square root of 3 over 3. This was our 8 square root of 3 over 3. 8 square root of 3 over 3. And this length was 6. Well, we already know the area of the triangles. So we actually already know this area in through here. We already know this area. Okay? We have found that area, and that area, again, is going to be the 16 square root of 3 divided by 3. That is that area. What we need to find now is the area of this rectangle. Well, the area of a rectangle is length times width, or length times height. So the area of this rectangle, or the area of the side, area of one side, is equal to 8 times the square root of 3 divided by 3 times 6. I'm going to multiply that out, and I get 48 times the square root of 3 divided by 3. I need to simplify this, so I'm going to simplify this, and I get 16 times the square root of 3. And let's make sure that that says 3. Okay? So the area of one side is going to be 16 times the square root of 3. I have found the areas of the individual pieces at this point. I want to find the area of all of it, the total surface area, to find out how much material that I need. So we have two triangles because we have one on each end. And if you look at it, we're going to have 1, 2, and then 3 sides because we've got one on the bottom. So we have 3 rectangles. So our total area is going to be 2 times our area of our triangle, which was 16 times the square root of 3 divided by 3, plus 3 rectangles times its area, which was 16, times the square root of 3. So this is going to give me 32 times the square root of 3 divided by 3 plus 48 times the square root of 3. Now at this point we're going to convert into decimals. So if I take 32 times the square root of 3 and divide by 3, that's going to be approximately 18 and 475 thousandths. And then if I take 48 times the square root of 3, that's going to be approximately 83 and 138 thousandths. And whenever I add those together, I get 101 and 613 thousandths. And we're talking about square feet. If I'm not mistaken, it tells us to round to the nearest tenth on this. So the total amount of material that we will need for our project here, let's see here, let me look at, is going to be 101 and 6/10 square feet. So we need 101 and 6/10 square feet of material to construct the tent. I hope this helped. Again, you've got to look at your triangles. You really need to know your 30, 60, 90, your 45, 45, 45 triangles, and go from, sorry, your 45, 45, 90 triangles, and go from there and really get those down. Okay? If you need some more help, let me know.